For the last unit, I focused on the role of school in society. And the three questions I came up with were, must everyone receive a high school education? Why don't we have specialty high schools anymore, or at least not a lot of them in the United States? And what is a public school's role in teaching morals to its students and society as a whole? And to keep things short, my first two questions, honestly, my study kind of became one, and a lot of the answers to the first one answered the second one, so I'm going to focus on my third question. What is a public school's role in teaching morals to its students? The first thing I'll mention is I think this public school is responsible for teaching some morals directly, that there are some things that are just so cut and dry clear, like don't commit murder, don't steal, as well as other things that are taught in health classes and history classes that should just be taught directly. Now, there's always shades of gray there. It's, I think, another topic of discussion. But the thing that's been very clear to me across all the readings that we've had, and some of my own personal reading, is that a lot of this teaching of morals happens indirectly. That just the environment we're in shapes us as a people. So first off, as a teacher, it's incredibly important that we almost build a prototype of what we want society to be like within our classroom, and that our classrooms are a unified place where students can learn and grow and help each other, and that we kind of can hopefully teach some morals that way, but also just through our own resolve. In the reading on how RICS, and eventually BYU Idaho, was established, it kept mentioning how, despite many shortcomings of the teachers and many issues they had, students recognized their sacrifice and recognized what kind of people they were. They recognized traits they had. And so I think it's fair to say that our example doesn't go unnoticed. Now, here's where my study kind of honestly took a turn. As I was trying to learn more about a school's role in developing morals for its students, I came across a lot of things on culture and how different people are affected by schooling. And so my question kind of got shifted a little bit into what is a school's role in assisting different cultures. And I came across a great podcast where they're talking about culturally responsive teaching. And there are kind of four big takeaways I had from it. The first is it's not enough to just create a culturally accepting classroom. I think it is a very important first step, and I kind of just mentioned it, that we should have a classroom environment where all students can feel comfortable and can feel safe, feel like it's a place where they can learn. And there's a lot of little different things that go into that. And there's little things we can do that help specific students of different cultures adapt to that. Just for a small example, as a person who served in Mexico, and that's things my wife has told me from her studies on the subject, many Hispanic students have a different relationship with adults than Americans. They're much more direct, and they feel much more as equals, just because they're raised in a society where if you're at a party, for example, it's not like a kids' party or adults' party. It's kids and adults of all ages hanging out and being friendly together. So they have a much more mixed society. So there's different little things we can do in our classroom to develop a culturally accepting classroom. Second, there's no one-size-fits-all solution to teaching a diverse classroom. What I got from this was she was very reluctant to give very specific tools or ideas of things to do to help a culturally diverse classroom. And the reason why is she thought that whenever you give somebody a specific idea, they tend to just hammer it into the ground, whether it works or not. And that often it wasn't the right case, and things should just be very much taken on a case-by-case basis. Which brings me to, we need to build relationships with all the students, but especially the culturally diverse students. And what she meant by that was, that's part of making them feel comfortable, but it's also part of knowing their needs and knowing how to teach to them. And I think that's kind of the bridging point between this make class an accepting place and onto this fourth point, which is we need to focus on instruction. The reason culturally diverse classroom doesn't work for many people, or culturally diverse teaching doesn't work for many people, is because they're too focused on just making the student feel like it's a safe environment to learn. A lot of times teachers can get that far, but students are still getting left in the dust. They're still getting left behind other non-culturally diverse students, you could say. And what her point was, is the instruction always needs to come first. We need to figure out ways to help these students learn. we need to constantly be self-evaluating and go, you know what, this instruction isn't working for them, so I'm going to change something. I'm going to mix things up. And I'm going to focus on these students who are maybe struggling. And some analysis of culture can come into play there. I thought that was very insightful, because I think of Christ's example of the 99 sheep, or the 100 sheep, where he has 99 that are safe and one that's lost. And he leaves the 99 to go find the one who's lost and bring him back to the fold. In a classroom, it's much the same. We might have 99 students ahead and doing just fine, but if we can focus on the one who's behind, the entire fold will grow and learn together. No one will actually get left behind. So hopefully this video wasn't too long. This is the second time recording, so I tried to cut it down a bit, but thank you for listening.